to bring it back to essential understandings piece is that's why that is so important. That's why we have to have everybody knowledgeable in regard to have an accurate history of what happened to American Indians here within our state, because for a long time that history within our history books here is lacking. There's one of the courses I think here for required courses for the K through 12 system. I think it's the middle school. You have to take the course on North Dakota. And so I don't remember a whole lot of this. It talks about American Indians, but it was a short piece, and it didn't tell about the breaking of treaties. It didn't tell about the high poverty population that resulted in regard to this. It didn't tell that here you go, Spirit Lake folks. Here's your reservation, and it doesn't tell that they went and sold off 75% of that land that were mined for 5 cents an acre when it was supposed to all be Indian land. So now you have a checkerboard reservation, and so meaning a checkerboard, meaning that white land right next to Indian land, and so those things like along those lines is that needs to be a part of this. It's not just the culture piece. It's not just a romanticizing of what happened to American Indians, but the history piece of this in regard to happened to the financial. I think there's stability within land. If you own land, if we own land, and me and my wife hold 30 acres. We're sovereign in ownership of that land because nobody can come onto the land, do anything on that land without our permission. If they're going to come across it, then they need an easement. So we're in control of that, and that's what could have happened had the tribes retained ownership of the entire land bases within their reservations. But that didn't happen with the Dawes Act and the Allotment Act, and instead it was initiative by the federal government to really, I think, to attack the sovereignty of the tribes and their ability to govern themselves. Had they retained ownership of that land within the reservation boundaries, they would have had land in regard that even if they didn't farm it, they could have leased the entire land base and able to had an income that would have helped their tribe to supplement what the federal government was supposed to be providing in regard to the building of schools and healthcare systems and law enforcement and housing and everything else that I think that needs to be done with all of our communities. So I think there's these things. It's important for everyone to know, not just us as tribal nations, but for all people within our general population in North Dakota.